Gender microaggression. According to Daryl Wang Su's work in Microaggression in Everyday Life, Race, Gender, and Sexual Orientation in 2010, gender microaggression are defined as intentional and unintentional insults, invalidations, and assaults because of the person's gender, and usually, gender microaggressions are frequently perpetrated against women and girls. The term microaggression is firstly created by Chester M. Pierce in 1970 to describe subtle forms of racism, thus gradually expanded to include gender, sexual orientation, and to other marginalized groups. So, what are the categories of gender microaggression? As previously mentioned, gender microaggressions are composed of three subtypes, including micro-assaults, micro-insults, and micro-invalidations. Like the tip of the iceberg, as it is above the surface, micro-assaults are the most obvious forms of microaggressions, such as sexism, racism, or homophobia. Yet, micro-insults and micro-invalidations are often not consciously aware of. Micro-insults include things that could be interpreted negatively, and in some cases those could be understood differently. For example, claiming a boy plays like a girl suggested that sports is the territory of boys, and at the same time, girls do not acquire the true physical power to be a true athlete. Even attempting a compliment would be a micro-insult. For example, when praising a woman as a good driver, this compliment is based on the assumption that women on average are less skilled in driving. The third type, micro-invalidation, is a type that declines the experiences and feelings of a target group. A typical example is the following statement: there is only one race, the human race. To someone from the racial minority, it has suggested that their practical reality is no different from someone in the majority, hence diminishing the experiences of the minority group. And as gender microaggression is as micro and as subtle as it seems, people may think it is so subtle that people won't even try to bother. However, it is the little things that has its importance, as constant dropping wears away the stone. According to Nadel and Haynes in 2012, because gender microaggressions are less obvious than other forms of sexual violence, they are often dismissed, invalidated, and even be viewed as harmless, leaving the victim feeling hypersensitive and even isolated. This cumulative nature of gender microaggression would then be associated with mental health problems, such as depression, anxiety, trauma, and especially lowered self-esteem. With reference to the minority stress theory, members of minority groups, including girls, are put at the risk of psychological stress because of the non-stop emphasis of their minority status in society and places less value on them. At the same time, gender microaggression has great relevance with sexual objectification. With objectification theory, it highlights the way that girls are taught to internalize they are valuable only when they meet others' needs or standards. A woman's sexuality can be isolated and even removed from herself as a person in extreme ways, such as sexual assaults to everyday subtle behaviors, such as gazes and remarks. So, how common it is in daily life? Here are some examples from movies.
Blair, you will never be more beautiful or thin or happy than you are right now. I just want you to make the most of it.
Guess I have time to change.
And put some product in your hair. The ends are dry.
Can you just look at my boobs? You should look at my face.
I'm trying, but it's so close to your boobs.
Ha.
To investigate the topic in a deeper manner, we conducted some interviews to see how Hong Kong youth look at gender microaggression. Our method includes activities and discussions. During the interactive activity, our interviewees are asked to show their views on specific statements that may contain gender microaggressive languages. If they find it is microaggressive, then they would stand to their left. If it is not, then they would stand to their right. For example, For the statement of "you play ball like a girl," there are 3 guys and 2 girls think it is microaggressive, while there are 3 guys think it is not. Our discussion session conducted with our interviewees also showed their different views on the topic. Our interviewees agree on the existence of gender microaggression, and yet it is also very hard to judge, as some think it is highly dependent on their personalities, relationships, and intentions. When relating to the situation of Lan Kwai Fong in Hong Kong, male and female interviewees have very different perspectives towards gender microaggression. While all of them acknowledge the existence of it, most male interviewees think it is genuinely allowed in such contexts because people are culturally taught to let loose in there. Yet female interviewees brought up the matter that it is constraining for women as they would be under male gaze. Many actions were restricted, such as the clothes they wear and what they do in there. With the observations from the interviewees in mind, the Sociology Capstone Fair brings more insight to the matter. During the Capstone Fair, audiences have a chance to look at the videos and banner to understand what is gender microaggression. We have an interactive activity asking audiences to tie rubber bands with gender microaggressive language onto a melon. It is an idea originated from the experiments that many rubber bands tying on a watermelon would lead to an explosion. We would like to bring out a message that gender microaggression is accumulative and detrimental to individuals despite genders. Finally, we have a board showing the wall of life, leading audiences to think about their past and share what they have been through that is gender microaggression related. It allows the audience to have a chance to rip it, which symbolizes the language or actions have to be taken down and break. In this wall of life, every audience has their own stories, and every experience is unique. The experiences of gender microaggression influence how they look at their own lives, shape their values and beliefs. Before having people actually realize it is bad, there is a lot to be taught. Yet, although microaggression is subtle and hard to spot, it doesn't mean we can't ignore.